even though she has that large platform and audience, she can't make the connections with everyone. Like, you might be influenced and encouraged from listening to someone like that speak. When it comes down to it, if you don't have somebody in your daily life to walk with you through that, it's hard.
Welcome to Fireside Talks, where we help bring you from survival to stability.
Through skills, support, and the hope of Jesus Christ.
Welcome back to Fireside Talks. This month is about leading and serving. And specifically this week is not leading without a title. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you think people sometimes believe leadership cannot happen or belongs only to people with titles or a platform?
I don't know. No, I think people recognize that there's certain leaders that don't have any kind of title or, I guess, platform.
Okay. All right. So, why do you think Jesus flipped the world's idea of leadership upside down in Matthew 20:26? You're going to jump off without me even finishing my question.
So we don't even need the 2026. The Matthew 20:26 is the example, but
okay.
Matthew 20:26, you know what it says, right?
No.
Okay. And I'm not going to get it word for word because I don't have a Bible in front of me, but essentially it says that it ends with the idea that Jesus came to serve, not be served. A lot of the leaders of the time were served. They weren't, if we think of like the Levites and the priests, like you brought your offering and the priest got, like, that's how they got their food because they didn't have any other kind of job. They didn't have money,
right,
per se. You think of a leader, you think during the time, you think of a king, like I serve at the pleasure of the king. Specifically during Jesus' time, it would have been an emperor with Caesar, and I'm here to serve Rome. Mm-hmm. And Jesus basically said that he is going to lead without being served, which would have been different for the culture. Okay.
What exactly, do you know what Matthew 20:26 says?
It says, well, like I said, it ends with that he came to serve, not be served. I'm afraid that if I try to get it from memory, I'm going to get it way wrong.
Yeah, and I don't have my phone with me. We're out in our camper right now because we're packing up our house and don't have anywhere to sit to record in the house. So,
right.
But yeah, I can look in here.
Yeah, look it up real quick and we can read it because I'd hate to just butcher it and get it wrong.
Matthew 20:26, it shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave. And that comes after the Sons of Thunder. Mm-hmm. Asking to sit at the left hand and the right hand of Jesus in his kingdom.
Right.
So not realizing that
whoever's going to be first will be last. That's kind of that basic idea.
Okay. So today we are talking about how influence doesn't start with a position, it starts with how you serve people. So have you ever met someone who wasn't technically in charge, but still changed the atmosphere everywhere they went?
I think there's people like that in every place that we go. I think too, a lot of the church, like there was certain times where people within the churches we've been parts of, like, man, if this person showed up, we know it's going to get done today. You know what I mean? Even though they weren't an elder or a deacon or a pastor, or they had no official title. Mm-hmm. But they just kind of had that influence that they were able to get things done.
Okay, what about like at Shields? Do you have people like that?
Sure we do. We absolutely have some of our people. So it's Shields is goofy because of the way they do their titles, right? So, I am considered a specialty shop manager, but really that just means I'm a full-timer. I work there full-time.
Okay.
The way we're set up at our store. So to be a specialty shop manager, I'm not managing people, I'm managing stuff. Like I do my orders and things like that. But we have some of our SSMs, or our specialty shop managers, that absolutely influence the things around them. They influence the other shop managers, they influence the part-timers, they influence like our support merchandisers and stuff like that. So we absolutely have those people that, yes, they have a manager title, but they're not a manager of people. They're a manager of stuff.
Oh, sure.
So
Okay.
I don't want that to be just because of the way.
It's not their job to influence those people.
Right.
It's just who they are.
Right. It's their job to make sure when you come into the store, there's actually something there to buy.
Sure. Okay. What qualities make someone influential without them having to control everyone?
So, and it's interesting because we were kind of talking about it a little bit today at work in one of the classes that I'm in. And it's interesting because we were actually talking about difficult conversations. Like, so more of a, I don't want to use discipline, but, some of those conversations, like, you're kind of messing up and we need to fix this. But I think some of the most, and especially people delivering that type of message, one of the things we talked about is like, well, that relationship that you have with that person makes a big difference on how you receive the message. But it's because we have people in our organization or in our store that, like, I know genuinely want to see me grow and get better.
Okay.
So I think that's that big influence is like, I'm not leading you or telling you what to do or even disciplining you because I'm in charge, but it's because I want you to be better at this. So I think it's a relationship and a caring that really makes that difference.
So that quality would be building, that makes people influential, would be caring for people and...
Yeah, that relationship that you have with them, where, like, I genuinely want to see you succeed. I want to see you be better.
Okay, all right. Why do you think servant leadership is so much harder than boss leadership?
Well, because
We've all had those.
Boss leadership is delegation. So if I'm a boss, I'm going to tell you what to do. If I'm a leader, I'm going to say, come with me and we're going to...
servant leader.
Yeah, or a servant leader. Come with me and we're going to do this.
Okay.
And those are two very different things. Because if I'm a boss, I'm going to say, go do that. Where if I'm a servant leader, I'm going to say, let's go do this.
Okay. How did Jesus model leadership differently from what culture usually celebrates?
Well, think of his whole ministry and the way he taught the disciples. He never told the disciples, you need to go out and raise support. You need to go out and do this. You need to go do this. Jesus did it. And he went and did these things with his disciples kind of behind him, teaching them the whole way until closer to the end of his ministry, where he actually said, all right, I've shown you, now I need you to do it.
Now it's your turn. Yeah. Like he modeled for them the preaching and the miracles and serving. Right. He modeled that first. And then when he knew that they were ready to go out on their own, he sent them out.
Right.
Okay. Do you think quiet consistency can impact people more than loud authority sometimes?
100%, because now you're following or teaching through example. So it's kind of the age-old thing of, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Right? But in that aspect, that quiet consistency that I'm modeling this over and over and over and over, now it's not do as I say, not as I do, it's do as I do. Which typically is far more effective because it's showing the people that you're leading that you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah, for sure. What is the funniest example of somebody acting like they were the CEO of something nobody asked them to run?
This might make you mad.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Why so?
It's not you, it was your mom.
Okay. Funniest example.
I just think of like when we were setting up for our wedding reception and your mom was just so worried about everything. And it's like, and do you remember where finally I was like, stop it, do this. Just knock it off and do this. Because it was like, oh, where are we going to put tables? Put them in a line. It's tables. Calm down. It's okay. And like your mom was trying so hard to do it, but she didn't really want to make a decision either. And I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Well, she was trying to worry about it so that I didn't.
Right. And let me back up. 20 years later, I think it's funny. At the moment, I don't think I probably did.
Okay. I do think that one of our children likes to be the CEO of
everything.
Life in our house.
Yes. Yes. Wait. Which one are we talking about?
Right? Okay.
Because I can think of 3 of the 5. And one of them's 3.
Okay. All right. Moving on. What are practical ways young adults can lead at school, work, church, or home without having a title?
Again, I think it's the do as I do, not do as I say.
Yeah.
And as far as practical ways, like maybe, let's think of siblings, like younger kids. Maybe you want your sibling to stop coming in and making a mess of your room. Well, if your room's messy, they're just following your lead. You don't care that it's clean. Why should I?
Sure.
You don't pick it up. Why should I?
Right. So setting that example.
So it's more of watch what I do. I think is the big thing.
Yeah. I think of when I was in high school, like a lot of people would come to me and ask me questions during biology class or chemistry class, probably not biology, chemistry class. They would come and ask me questions because I was getting my stuff done. So I was making that example that I knew how to do the work.
Sure.
So they would come and sit by me to ask questions
Yeah. No, I see that. That makes sense.
Yeah, just showing that I knew the work,
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to help, and not downgrading other people for not knowing the answers, but be willing to help and being encouraging in that
Right.
learning process.
Right, and I think that's something, and maybe I'm skipping ahead in your questions, but I think that's something too. Is like sometimes we have to accept that people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And I really think of, especially in people that are coming into new jobs and stuff, and maybe you don't have that leadership title, but maybe you are kind of that mentor type person. And sometimes we have to accept that people don't know what they don't know. Like maybe they've never worked in this type of atmosphere before, and in your head, I've been doing it for 1, 5, 30 years, whatever the answer might be, and they've never been involved with it. Mm-hmm. So this is a completely new experience for them, and maybe they're not, and oftentimes I think too, it's like they're not necessarily doing it wrong, they're just not doing it how we do it.
Sure.
Or maybe they're not doing it in the most effective manner. Well, that's because they just don't know, and we have to remember that they're not dumb or they're not lazy. It's just they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I think to flip it around as well, I think it shows good leadership to be able to admit when you don't know something, to be humble in asking, I don't know how to do that part. Can you help me?
Right.
Like, to set that example of asking for help too. I think that's important.
Right.
How can someone lead well even if they feel overwhelmed?
So I think that's probably a tough one, because it's easy to just get overwhelmed with the situation and throw your hands in the air. But even if the people around you can tell that you're overwhelmed, but you are still keeping it together and staying somewhat calm through the situation, and you're continuing to move forward, I think is the big thing. Whatever your situation is that you're leading through, as long as you're still taking those steps to move forward, I think that's probably the best leadership we can have.
Yeah, I think too, just being able to take that breath, to pause and say, I need your help.
Right.
Like, I need you to do this. Can you come help me with this? Like, I can't do this all on my own. And I think to be able to lead in that way
Sure.
is very humbling.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between influence and attention?
I can influence someone, and again, I think it's a lot of a do as I do situation, but I can influence them into doing, to act in a certain way, or to getting a job done or whatever. I can get attention lots of ways, and many of them are not healthy. So I often don't just want attention. I would rather have influence.
Sure.
I don't care. And even with what we're doing right now, like, I'm not doing this with hopes of intention. I'm doing it with hopes of maybe showing somebody something that they've never seen or never thought of before.
Right.
And that's influence, not attention.
Right. Attention is, look at me.
Right.
Eyes on me. Whereas influence is, watch me so you can, to inspire others to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
I can go on the street corner and get attention.
Please don't. Can encouragement be a form of leadership?
100%. Because even, just thinking of last night, one of our newer guys at work that, he did a really good job. And it was just I wasn't like hugging him and being like, I'm so proud of you. But just hey, good job, man. Like, that's going to influence him to be like, I can do this, and next time I'm going to do it even better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do small actions, showing up and helping out and listening to someone, staying consistently showing up, how does that build trust over time?
I think, again, that's just that consistency. I think a lot of times, if we think of some of the people that have influenced us, it's that we can rely on them.
That's huge.
They're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Or, at least they're going to be there for this season, whatever that might be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Showing up is huge.
Right.
Was there a moment when someone's small act of kindness or leadership really impacted your life?
I guess I think of when Preston was born, and everybody just kind of took over for us while we were dealing with him in the hospital and all of those things.
Yeah. Because the fire department just said, okay, because we were moving to go deeper into that. We were moving out of our house, or back into our house. Sorry.
It's a super long story.
We were moving back into our house after having rented it for a couple years and cleaning it up because the renters had trashed it. When he got sick, we were cleaning and moving things when he got sick. The fire department and the church said, just give me your keys. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of finishing cleaning your house.
Right.
And then also we had our 3-year-old daughter and, just friends from church.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, don't worry about it. We'll keep her busy. We'll make sure she's fed and healthy. Don't worry about her. We got her.
Right.
And then, people came out and prayed with us. They drove an hour and a half to come out with us, to visit with us, to pray with us, to feed us.
Right.
Just those little things set a huge example and a huge, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. A huge example for us to live up to and to move from.
I mean, and I think you could almost argue that some of those events have shaped us into what we're doing now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. To see those people serve us in that way.
Right. Right. And granted, we're looking at serving people very differently than that. But it set that example. Like, no one that came, whether it was the guys on the fire department or the people in the church, or none of them were looking for a pat on the back. You did a great job.
Yeah.
It was just they seen we were in a bad spot, and that was how they thought they could help.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in Matthew 20:26, Jesus connects greatness with serving. Why do you think service is so powerful?
I guess my first thought is you can do whatever you want as far as in a roundabout way, all of our jobs serve someone.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Very few jobs, and it doesn't matter what it is. Like, I'm a construction worker. Well, you're serving the person that wants the building built.
Right.
You're I don't care what job, really. They're all service in some way. Even, I'm a factory worker. Well, I'm still doing this job so you can have this couch, this car, this whatever it is that we're building, right? So it's still that aspect of service. Very rarely do we find greatness without service. Because, I could be I don't know, I'm trying to think of some off-the-wall example. I could be the greatest lawnmower in the world. But if I'm not doing it as an act of service, what did it really mean?
Right. If you don't see that those people are going to look at their lawn and be happy and proud of it, if you don't see it in that way, then you're not going to be trying your best.
Right.
Yeah. I think service is so powerful too, because you lay that influence for others.
Sure.
And you're seeing a need and meeting that need when you're serving people. So it can be very impactful for somebody when you're serving them, because you're meeting a need that can run very deep.
Right.
Why is it hard to keep serving when nobody notices? Get the word out.
I think that's just your perception. Somebody does. Because I promise, no matter what act of service you're doing, if you stopped it, it's going to go noticed. But and there's a big difference between nobody noticing and it being thankless. Very rarely do we thank our garbage man. Right?
Yeah.
But we sure would notice if he stopped.
I think of Tim at Countryside.
Sure.
And all he did, it was his job to ring the bell to let everybody know that Sunday school was over.
Right.
And if he wasn't there, we ran way over for Sunday school.
Right.
And everybody's like, where's Tim? Like, what on earth happened?
Right.
Like, I mean, but most people would probably just walk by him and not even notice that it was him who was doing it, or just, okay, well, the bell rang, time to go. Like,
yep. But somebody had to be there to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is hard though when you're not being encouraged, when you're not being seen. It's hard. I mean, lots of people go through that. You know, firemen go through that. Paramedics go through that. Moms go through that. Like, it's hard when you're doing that monotonous work, or what might seem monotonous to you, and nobody else sees that.
Sure.
Have you ever struggled with comparing your impact to someone else's platform?
I probably have, but I don't know that I can give you a specific example. You know, it was easy. Maybe that's not the right no, it is the right. You know, I think pastors struggle with it a ton. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because, like, and I'm not saying all of them, because that's not the case, but you know, that little small country church pastor, and he's got like 30 or 10 very faithful people that are coming every day or every Sunday. He is absolutely making an impact on their lives. Mm-hmm. But then he goes on YouTube and he sees these mega churches and these guys that have all of these social media. I don't know if you remember, and I'm not saying he's wrong, but like, it was a sermon writing seminar that I was going to take for free online.
Okay. And
I only made it through one class, or one session or video or whatever, because, you know, our church ran 65, 70, you know, a good weekend we ran 100.
Okay.
And he was talking about preparing to write your sermon and your writing team coming around you.
Right. Yeah. I remember.
And right away I was like, nope, this won't do me any good. And I'm not saying he's wrong, but like, he had that platform that I was not going to have.
Right. Yeah.
But did we still have an impact on the people we were serving? For sure.
Yeah. I think about too, I love Lisa TerKeurst. I love her story. I love her writing. I love her devotional, her encouragement. She's a very encouraging writer. And I used to think, like, I wish I could be big like Lisa TerKeurst and influence and encourage all of these moms and women to be faithful, to, in those hard moments, to lean into Christ. And I remember wishing that I could do that. But just like we talked last week, not everybody can be in that spot. Not everybody can have that platform, because even though she's has that large platform and audience, she can't make the connections with everyone. And like, you might be influenced and encouraged from listening to someone like that speak or reading somebody like that. But when it comes down to it, if you don't have somebody in your daily life to walk with you through that, it's hard. And so those little relationships and those personable times are just as important as that big platform.
Sure.
What helps people stay humble while still being confident in their purpose?
I think, look at me, I'm the most humble person I know. Speaking about humility is tough, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start to talk about being humble, that cancels it out. But I
Well,
think
I was humble when.
right, exactly. But I think that being humble and confident at the same time, it, I very rarely in our lives does someone expect us to have all of the answers. And maybe you're in that leadership role, that actual leadership role in your organization. And I would argue that your job is never to have all of the answers, but maybe your job is to know where to find the answer. And I think you're going to get a lot more respect, and you're going to be confident when you can say, I don't know,
Right.
but I know where to find out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge deal for people. Don't fake answers. Just be honest. I don't know the answer to that, but I know where to find it.
Yeah.
Or maybe sometimes it's, I don't even know where to find it, but I know who to ask.
Yeah.
And I think that's just as important. And I think I think a lot of stress goes away when you don't believe you have to have all of the answers.
Right. But you can be confident in finding the answers.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that reduces a ton of stress for
Yeah.
people of influence and leaderships and all of that.
So in that, how can someone lead without becoming controlling? Because that goes back to that servant leadership or boss
Right.
leadership.
Right. And it's really, really easy to be in a leadership role and to be controlling. It's just an easy trap to fall into. And I think one of the first things, if we're in a more traditional leadership role, like I know we're talking about being a leader without a title for this, but if you have that title, I think probably one of the first things you have to learn how to do is let go. Because how many times have, and I've been guilty of this a ton, like I need this done and I need you to do it. And then I need to be done with that. But often it's, I need this done, I need you to do it, and I need you to do it exactly the way I would do it.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, not going back behind them and redoing it or telling them how it needs to be done or,
Right.
yeah.
I need this task completed, I need this goal accomplished, and then I just need to let go of it and let them do it.
I don't care how you get there, just
Right.
get there.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily I don't care how you get there, but, you know.
Well, I think of the book, is it 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
Sure.
And he talks about teaching his son how to cut the grass. It's like, listen, you can take buckets of water and you can sprinkle it on the grass, or you could go get the hose. It's up to you. But green, that's what we're shooting for.
Right.
So.
Right. Right. And like that's one of those things even here, mowing the yard. Like I'm kind of particular about how the yard gets mowed. And I had to let go with, all right, as long as all the grass is the same length, it was a success.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you think social media sometimes confuses visibility with leadership?
100%. You know, and think back to when we were kids. How many times did you hear the word influencer?
Right.
You know, I think that's probably let's say the last 10 years is a word that has come about. I don't ever remember hearing the word influencer.
Yeah.
We absolutely had influencers. They just didn't have the platform.
Right.
So our influencers were people we had relationships with.
Sure. Yeah.
And I just think of some of the crazy things that have come from social media.
Yeah. And I think those social media influencers are not leaders at all. It's attention, not leadership.
Well, and I think very often when we talk about our influencers on social media, so much of it is consumer driven, not anything else.
Right. Yeah. How many likes can I get?
Right.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who thinks, I'm too young or quiet or awkward or inexperienced to lead?
I think James talks about that. Don't let your youth be a deterrent from, don't let people look down on you because of your youth. I think that's a perfect example of that.
14, 12?
Yep. But it's not. It's not actually 14:12.
It's not?
No, it's 4:12. James 4:12.
Okay.
But anyways, and I just say that because we had a Trail Life group that was 14:12, and it was modeled off of that scripture. That don't let your youth be that deterrent. Don't let people look down on you because of your youth.
Yeah.
Set an example in speech and pureness and kindness
Yeah.
and self-control and all of those things. But I think the other thing is we have to give our young people the opportunity. And I think too, like, I think of our kids, like we give them these tasks and we will often let them fail. And it's not because they're young, or it's not because, but let's let them lead and let them fail, because that's where they learn. So I think a lot of that is the older generation allowing those younger people to go out and be the leaders that they're going to be at some point. But we also have to accept that they're probably going to fail at things.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And I think too, if you are quiet or inexperienced, and just keep trying, like keep learning. Like some things are just hard, and a platform type leadership is not easy. Not everybody has the gift of leadership, of being able to talk in front of people, being able to see a big picture, to be able to get things done. But a servant leadership, to set a good example for people, everyone can do. But you just might have to learn, might just have to try harder and keep at it.
And there's really, really great leaders out there that will never have a leadership title.
Yeah. Why does leadership start with character before charisma?
Because if you're trying to lead people for all the wrong reasons, first off, it's never going to be successful. Now, does it take, to be an effective leader, does it take a certain amount of charisma? Sure. If you're just a jerk to everyone, no one's going to follow you. So it takes a certain amount of personality or charisma to be a leader. But if you're leading for the wrong reasons, if you're leading because you want to be a leader, often I think the people that say, I'll do it, but I don't want to, are often going to be the best leaders. Because, I can do it, but I really don't want to.
Can you give our listeners some encouragement?
I think, and just thinking of the leadership mindset and all of those things, one of the things that I often think of, and maybe it's not as much encouragement as it is a challenge. I don't know. Maybe it's both. But if you look at everything else in creation, we serve a God of living things, right? So everything in God's creation grows. The second your grass stops growing, a tree stops growing, well, then what is it doing? It's dying. And we're the exact same way. The second we stop growing, we start dying. And maybe that's not a physical ailment. And I don't mean the moment we stop growing taller, but the moment we stop with personal growth is the moment we start to die. So if you're that person out there right now that's like, yep, I know everything there is to know about this, there's very, very few of those people in the world, so I kind of doubt it. You might know a lot, And you might know a lot more than a lot of other people. But there's very few people that know every aspect of one topic.
So what's the challenge?
Open up and accept that you still have room to grow.
Okay. So in closing, what kind of leader do you hope people remember you as?
That's an interesting question because, like, oh, I want to be liked. I want to be popular. I want to be famous, right? I guess in my mind, I want to be remembered as someone that was genuine. Maybe I'm never going to lead this huge organization, or I'm never going to do these things. But at least if you look back, you can be like, you know what? The people he led, he genuinely cared about. He genuinely wanted to see them succeed.
Yeah.
And I think that's a greater sign of leadership than anything else.
Yeah. I think I just want to be remembered about being compassionate.
Sure.
More than anything. Okay. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. Matthew 20:26. So why don't you pray for us? We can give a little update. And
sure. Right. So, Father, as we leave this week and move on to the next, or as we listen to this, we just ask that we do recognize that all of us have certain leadership qualities. While we may never have that title, there's absolutely people around us that we are leading. So I just ask that we remember when people are looking to us, someone's always watching what we're doing. They're always looking to how we react to things. And if we're trying to set a genuine example for someone, I think first and foremost, we have to have that self-control. It's often easy to get angry, but it's okay to get angry as long as it passes quickly. As long as that's not, that anger isn't what controls us. That anger is just a fleeting emotion that we're able to move on from. And I just ask that if we are in that position where we don't feel like we have any influence, or we don't feel like we are actually leading someone, that we spend some time and we think about the relationships we do have, that we'll recognize that, yeah, we absolutely are influencing and leading people, whether it's directly or indirectly. So, and lastly, I just ask that maybe we're in that position where it's time for self-reflection, which is often the scariest thing we can ask is for your Spirit to show us where we're kind of missing a step. But to have that courage and that boldness to recognize that we're never immune to growth. We're never immune to learning new things. So we just ask that we're able to go into this with an open mind, recognizing that you have so much more to teach us. And we pray all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So that concludes our week on leadership without a title. In case you didn't notice, we are in our camper. We have moved our couches, our tables, our chairs. We're sitting in the living room in lawn chairs and TV trays. We are hoping to move out of our house. We have officially accepted the job at the Palisades in Garrettson, South Dakota. And so we will be moving out there hopefully this next week.
Right.
So if everything, we got our truck back. So today.
Yes.
Hours ago.
Yes.
So, things are moving. And we'll either start recording in here or maybe outside. So
right.
See a little change of scenery.
Because we're in the middle of a huge transition time.
Yeah.
And this is really, I think, while we've taken several big steps with Fireside already, all of our big steps up to this point haven't really been, how do I want to say, like real life altering steps. Mm-hmm. They've been like, yeah, we had to put in the hard work for a 501c3. We had to put in hard work for websites and policies and podcasts and stuff like that. But now we're getting to the point where like it's going to be genuine life changes for us now.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying and exciting all at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we're going to live in a camper with 5 kids.
Yeah.
For a minute.
For a minute.
Yep.
So,
but on the flip side, think of what that does for us. Like, we're coming into the summer months. We're going to have the opportunity for our kids to live in a state park for a summer. Mm-hmm. We're going to be able to have all these awesome experiences. And at the same time, it's going to allow us to have a little more time to find that perfect piece of property that God's been holding back for Fireside this whole time.
Yes. Yes. So, be in prayer for us. As that everything would go smoothly from the house to the camper to the Palisades, and be in prayer that God is going before us and He is fine-tuning the land that He has set aside for us for Fireside. So, so be in prayer for that. Make sure you go check out our website, firesidecommunity.org. You can find all of our podcasts on there. You can find our merch, which is 100% of the proceeds comes to Fireside. We have beanies and ball caps and t-shirts and zip-up hoodies and coffee mugs. And my son wants a water bottle, so you'll see a water bottle on there soon. And then did I say you can find all the podcasts?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a giving page too, so make sure you check that out. And please like, subscribe, and share this podcast so we can get the word out there so people can hear what we're doing and hear the things we have to say to teach and Fireside, what we'll be doing there. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that wraps her up.
All right. We'll see you next week on another week on leading and serving. Bye.
Bye.